it's just not fun to watch, which is why I think we're seeing Nadu's price slip from 20s down to 10s and
awful to watch.
Yeah.
The most exciting part about watching the Nadu matches to me was hoping that Nadu wasn't gonna pull it off, being like, oh nice, they just hell yes. Last flip
you
here.
Just like want to see
last
them
flip. We
miss.
just avoid a creature, no creature. That was the only exciting thing, was like no creature, no creature, no creature. Oh, and that's an Antuco. All right, so that's the end of it. That'll be that. You know, I watched
Brian Boss brought that prowess deck, and I was rooting for him so hard into his brick draws in game 3.
Javier Dominguez on Jeskai.
I was talking about this deck earlier at the top of the stream as being a really good meta choice.
This was the one I had most fun watching, which is weird coming from me because it's like a control deck. This is a control deck, dude. 4 main deck OG counterspell. Can you have a game described as unhealthy when one of the very first cards printed ever is still being played as a 4 of in a premier format? That's so cool to me.
What an exciting format when I'm rooting for the grief scam player,
bro. When I'm rooting for 4 of subtlety, 4 of force of negation, 4 of one ring, and 4 of counterspell. Where am I? Who am I? I don't recognize anything anymore. Watching Javi play this one was super fun. Watching him do the math on Wrath of the Skies.
A nightmare.
Oh man,
honestly,
it's brutal.
Like Teferi, the One Ring.
I hate it because it ruins everything I play. But what a cool Wrath of the Skies is.
Oh man, Wrath of the Skies has been one of my favorite cards.
It's really interesting. Really interesting card.
Seeing of the Skies, seeing them able to cast a board wipe for 2 mana and then have resources to continue doing things in that game.
Being able to know how much you want to kill, what lands you should tap, how much energy, so I can leave up. Do I want to leave up 1 piece of energy?
Yeah, you don't even need to put anything into X. If you have energy banked, it doesn't matter. You're just paying 2 to. It's so good. I mean, Galvanic Discharge, that was a card really quick, just talking about the draft that I just played this past weekend. That was a card where I tapped everything out except for 1 red, and then my opponent played a 6/6 and I had like 10 energy, and so I was just like, EOT, I'll Galvanic, kill your 6/6, and they're like, what, for 1 red? And I'm like, honestly, how good energy
You're like,
is.
What's up, baby?
What a
strong card. It's so good. It's honestly so good. What's up, Nico?
I love it. I really do. Another card, and I gotta agree with D Clem on this. I watched this card. Okay, so I had this card cast against me in the last Commander play day, and I loved it. And I saw it get cast in Pro Tour, and I loved it. This card is so silly and really divisive. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter just be like, this is stupid. I can't believe that competitive Magic has come down to coin flips. And then people were replying with a bunch of stuff that was essentially coin flips that has existed long before Invert Polarity put flip a coin in a Pro Tour deck. But this card in particular, man, bro, if you're going to counterspell me, let's flip a coin and see if you get my thing. Let's go. Let's just do it. That sounds sick.
I'm either losing or you canceled something.
Hell yeah. Right. Exactly. That's it. You already are going to counter it. It's fine. Let's rock and roll. Dude, flip a coin. 50-50, you get it. Sure.
Dude, all it is is like it's a little bit more expensive counterspell that has upside on it, because now instead of it fizzling, you get to do something with it instead. And you know what? But there's no downside on the card.
No, dude, I've started putting it in all my blue-red decks just because I'm like, it's a counterspell I can get away with. It's canceled, dude.
Perfectly tuned too. At 3 mana, you don't want it in versus aggro because anything you're going to steal probably isn't that great, so you board it out. But you leave it in versus all these decks trying to do busted stuff like, ooh, that's my 1 ring now. Which I'm like,
cancel it,
that's what you get for playing this card.
That was this was one of my D-Clem. Thank you for bringing that one up. That was one of my dark horses from the weekend, just because it was so fun to watch. It's just so much better than just counterspell.
I would say the prowess deck not playing any but 1 MH3 card, and that MH3 card being just a tapped duel. That just gives like doubles the power in first strike.
What was this?
Boss. was playing Gruul Prowess, and this is not a good. And let me be clear, he has stated this too. This is not a good Prowess list, but he teched super hard for the Nadu meta, knowing that the interaction levels were very low. So he was playing scale.
Oh, cool! It looks like an arena deck.
He's playing like he mashed an infect deck, but he took all the infect creatures out and put Prowess in. And Slick Shot with scale up in like Monster's Rage just hits for 20. With so it's like, oh, cool, you're dead.
You can build nearly all of this on arena.
There's one MH3 card here, and it's the MTFC. That's it.
Insane. Legion Leadership. Oh my god, it's a single dual face card.
And it's that's all he chose out of MH3. It's like, this is all I need.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna play Monster Rage out of over anything.
All right.
Honestly, I really like that list.
It's awesome.
I love
his.
Who went 10-0? Esper what?
Yeah, I want to talk about the Gorios. Let's look at the Boros energy because I want to talk Gorios and you want to talk Mono Black.
Wow, so 10-0, and then what? Scrubs out in the top 8.
Yeah, must have gotten screwed in top 8 or screwed out of top 8. Let's talk about Esper Gorios though. I mean, this deck is sick. This is the deck that I played for the first time to like wet my beak on Modern. Like 2 or 3 months ago, whenever that happened. It might have also been yesterday. I don't know what time it is anymore.
You beat me up pretty good.
Yeah.
This is the 10-0.
This was the 10-0. Gorios Vengeance.
Yeah, Psychic Frog. I've seen a lot more people on Psychic Frog too.
What a good little discard engine he is.
It's a good card.
Looks like really Psychic Frog is it for MH3 cards in this one too. This was Matt Sperling's deck.
This deck can go straight to hell. I'm looking at the list and it can go straight to hell.
This deck is so fun looking, dude.
Gross.
Gotta be honest.
This thing is gross as shit.
Get a grizzle brand in the yard and bring my grizzle band back from the yard.
This is how I typically feel. This is how I typically feel. But versus the Nadu deck, I'm like, come on, grief him, grief scam him.
Something happened here where if this goes 10-0 and then scrubs out, it must have had a really bad draw or something for this to have tripped up, because for this to do so well and not close out, I mean,
if I was going to play a Modern paper tournament, this is the one I would try and put together. And really the only thing keeping me from it is Grief is expensive as hell right now, and it's probably going to eat a ban in the next 365 days.
It may come down if they take a ban in Legacy, but it probably won't.
But I don't think it will, Joel, because it comes with such a disadvantage. I think the card is fair. I think it alongside Fury was busted, but
we'll play like 3 or 4 best ofs.
How supremely unfun is this game?
I'll play Grief against you, and I feel like by like match 4 or 5 you're going to be going, this shit needs to be banned, because ripping your hand apart that early is just so brutal.
I play against it, and Timeless has completely shifted meta now that all of these are on there. And I've seen it constantly firsthand. You see like some of the old meta, but so much of the meta is like MH3 stuff, and
makes sense.
It's more fair in Timeless just because show and tell is so busted.
Esper Gorio's really into this one. Only new Modern card, or only new MH3 card, Psychic Frog. That's nice to see. Nearly a block constructed MH3 deck here with Boros Energy. This was one of my biggest shockers of the whole weekend. Was that a deck that is, look at this, 4 of MH3, 4 of MH3, 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 3 Lightning Bolt, because that 4th Lightning Bolt's not good enough anymore, and then 3 of an enchantment that's been banned in a lot of formats.
What enchantment is it? Fable?
Fable of the Mirror Breaker, because why not? It's a red deck, aggro, dude, blue, red aggro, dude, throw Fable in there.
Let us go back to a time called Kaladesh, when Wizards of the Coast printed a mechanic called Energy for the first time, and it took over, and there were only Teamer Energy decks and Teamer Black, which splash black for Scarab God.
Hello, I'd like to attune the Aether, please.
And then there was a Saltite Energy deck that ran the Hostage Taker. I remember that with Walking Ballista.
Yes.
And then there was also a blue-white control deck that emerged to deal with all the energy shenanigans. I'm not even surprised that there is a deck that used all the new energy cards and did well. It doesn't surprise me at all. It's just that's how good energy is, and I won't be surprised if once Nadu gets hit, we don't start seeing a bunch more energy stuff come up. I just think if it's already here, it's pretty good.
Have you guys seen Flage in action? What do you think of that card?
I played against it.
Yeah, I watched it all weekend. It's one of my favorite new cards.
Better or worse than Croxa?
Wow. You mean okay? So I think.
I mean, Crocs is not played in Modern.
But it used to be a little bit, right? We used to see a one of in like some. We saw it a little more when Luris was still legal, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah,
that makes sense.
Kind of fallen by the wayside. These decks, and they were running maybe two Croxes, right? These decks are slamming 3-4 Flages in them.
I think because the Flage is giving you a lightning helix on the enter, so it's like you're getting a slightly more expensive lightning helix the first time you play Flage, and then you have this opportunity to bring it back, and then it sticks. If you can't answer it, it's an absolute back-breaking card.
Yeah, and I think there's a huge also between, but like Lava Spike, right, which is 3 to face, which Croaks can do, and Lightning Bolt, which you can shoot it anywhere. So having Flage being able to be removal as well as life total stuff is huge.
Yeah. I hate that life point swing. It's just massive.
It's brutal, man.
This was the craziest thing I saw all weekend, though, was the 2 of Arena of Glories.
Love this
Escape
card.
your Flage. ETB's 3 to something. 3 life up. Used a mana from the Arena of Glory, so we gave it haste. It attacks. Another 3. I saw the energy.
God, that's annoying as shit.
I saw Javier. No, Javier. Yeah, Javier was playing Flage. I saw Flage. No, he wasn't playing the haste land though. It must have been somebody else I saw.
It is. I mean, he had 2. That deck had 2 of arenas.
Not the control deck here, or I'm not seeing it. Am I just missing it?
Oh, not in the control deck. No, they don't want to have it with the mountain tax thing.
There was some player I saw return it with arena mana and immediately attack with a Flage and kill a 6 thing.
Brutal.
Into the attack, and then
they played it and then swung and got the second.
The arena, it gives it haste.
Right.
So
yeah. This deck, very impressive. We knew that these 3 were going to be good. Guide of Souls, the call there was this will be good if an energy deck breaks out. Bing, bang, boom, it's good. Ocelot Pride, we had a read on. And Johnny, we obviously had a read on. Amped Raptor, I think, flew under the radar for everybody, but only because it was uncommon. But it ended up being like a crazy, consistent, valuable piece. Yeah, to sort of foundation. You're pretty much
always getting something useful with it if you have it in the right deck. Like this, you're never going to really miss with it.
Right.
Yeah, it only misses the Flage and the Fables, but even then, with Guide of Souls, you're generating that extra energy every here and there. So you probably have your third, so you can cast.
Yeah.
Then you've got cards like Static Prison, Unstable Amulet as well. I
love Unstable Amulet.
Yeah, it's very cool, right? Static Prison too for me. It was a very under the radar card, but I was like, holy shit, these cards play super well.
The fact that it deals a damage for the based on the card that it exiles, and anything from your graveyard. So if you play Breach, you just escape your Phage, 1 extra damage.
Right.
If you have a couple of them out, then it's 1 for every one. It's really cool.
Then Static Prison, exiling any non-land permanent for 1 mana. Target non-land permanent for 1 mana, exiled.
Finally, the domain decks don't have anything on us.
At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, sack it unless you pay 1 energy. So you can choose not to. You are incorporated with 2 to pay. So it's minimum gone for that turn and the next 2 turns. There's a lot you can do.
Unstable Amulet is good,
bro.
Yeah,
that's really good.
That deck is pretty sweet, and none of it seems super broken to me. And so I think
how did this deck end up doing?
It did well. It did well.
Top 8. It didn't have a representation.
Okay.
It did. It was in what 13th here? 9-1.
It had a 56% win rate, but it wasn't a huge meta share. So I think there's only like 25 matches with it.
Yeah, and it's a brand new deck, don't forget. So it'll be interesting to see if it actually is able to be sort of answered in the meta if the meta shifts so that it can accommodate. I think that that'll be pretty telling.
I think it's a deck we're going to be seeing around for sure.
Another deck I think we'll be seeing around for sure. Our mono black Necro. Wow, did we just take all the good black cards? Orcish Bowmaster, Shield of the Apocalypse, Doughty Voidwalker, 4 Necro Dominance, Fatal Push.
Pretty much, this is an arena deck here.
The mono black because all the good cards just happen to be in black.
Yeah, this one
is 1,000,000% played on arena.
I was going to say, minus Soul Spike, this deck is completely on arena. Wow,
which is so funny. What a interesting tech, just because of the amount of cards they draw.
Yeah, man.
Because they used to be on March, I think. No, they still are. Okay.
3 Malakir Rebirth and 1 Not Dead After All. I'm assuming specifically for the grief. You can also save a Bowmasters, honestly, or a Shouldered if you need to. Doughty because it's good. Wow, these dual lands. The fact that Fell the Profane. Just the fact that you can play this as an untapped land. If you lightning bolt yourself in the face, making this a modern played card. 4 mana, destroy a creature or planeswalker. 4 mana!
I mean, it's so important for this deck because you need black cards to pitch to Grief. You need black cards to pitch to Soul Spike. You need black cards to pitch to March. So being able to pitch all your lands that you draw off your Necro Dominance is huge. Yeah, you're gonna gain all the life back anyway. So that, you know, an untapped land for 3 is no big deal.
I also feel like looking at this list that this is a pretty.
Oh, I'm sorry. Decks do play Croxa. There he is.
Where is he?
Isn't that him on the Necro Dominance?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Looking at this list, this looks like a pretty skill-intensive and meta-aware deck to pilot because you're doing a lot of control.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You are running 8
rampant. Because there's another combo deck. You know, besides the Nadu, which obviously performed very well, there was one other deck, the one that's number 1 or number 2 right now on like MTGO meta share.
Yeah.
Ruby Storm. Boy, was every single human being ready for Ruby Storm. This deck got punched into the dirt.
Yeah. Ruby Storm was one of the most represented decks going into day 1. And if you look at this list, it didn't do better than 5 and 5, and that was Alex Hayne. Alex Hayne is a beast.
Every single deck that it faced, it has a losing win rate versus.
That is insane.
This deck kills on turn 2, and people were so sideboard for it.
What sideboard card was killing this one?
I mean, it depended on the deck, but the control deck, you know, control just held up counter magic. Like I think the Jeskai control rate beat it. It had a 12% win rate versus control. Everything else was in like the 30s to 40s, a little normal. But yeah, it was.
So that's why Pyretic had a jump. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, this deck made some cards pop. Wish popped like crazy. Pyretic popped like crazy. Right. Desperate popped like crazy. Ruby went up from where it was. Rao gained momentum. But all of these cards are now got to be sliding down the old chain.
You know, it's tough. It's still holding the top meta share for like Mitgo and stuff. Again, it kills on turn 2, but you know, when it comes, I think the PT is such a different. Yeah, it's just a different game, honestly.
Damn,
like,
look at this. If you had picked these up when they were down in the 5s, because people were like low on it for some reason. Yeah, this one hasn't actually fallen off huge. It has dipped.
That's what I mean. People are still playing it, but the PT, yeah, they were teched and ready.
When you see a card like
says Fledge, there was one Crab Mill player. That's cool.
There
was a Mill player. You can see even Flays just sort of down ticking after the weekend. The hype is now over. You know, I'm not sure what the next major tournament is. I haven't looked that far ahead, but there was a hype window and now it's kind of cooling. We'll see where everything settles out too, especially as people are just like bans. Yeah.
I mean, have you looked at the Nadu prices recently? I mean, Shuko was worth more, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But right after PT, I don't think anyone wants to get left holding this potato.
No, not at all. Look at this lifetime.
Wow.
Look at this lifetime.
Looks like a penny stock. Cool.
Yeah, Shuko, crazy pants.
Yeah, they really wanted it, didn't they? Wow. Wow, gotta get it. Gotta have it. Gotta play it.
One cost equip creature gets +1/+0.
What if I told you Magic would be clamoring for a +1/+0 equipment?
Cards going up currently. The Johnny Nikado Pariah. Gaining some value here. People are saying it's a 4 of. It dying. Those things dying. All good things.
Yep.
Players don't care. They want it to die. They want it to go away. It's going to flip. You can play a second one. Multiple of Johnnies is nothing. People are enjoying it. Necro Dominance.
Yep.
I've heard that there's only 12 people in the entire world that truly understand how to play this correctly. But there's a lot more that are going to try. And so it tends to be going up. Even your base copies here. Yeah, Jake.
I pulled one.
This crazy looking profile version, and all versions, ticking up. Gaining some love. Kind of an interesting time right now. Lots of it's falling. Lots of it's falling. And it will continue to fall. This is not a time to buy video. That's not what we're talking about here. We're just looking at prices a few weeks after release. This is not the time to buy MH3 cards. Most likely. Unless it's in a price window you're comfortable with, then I'm an idiot and don't listen to me. Even your big Eldrazi, Jake, $15. This is not going to be a $15 card for long, though. I'll tell you that.
This one here is actually, of the 3 Eldrazi we got, this is the one that I'm the lowest on. Even though I think pretty good.
A souvenir bucket of popcorn is more expensive now.
I believe it is.
I would say so.
Do you, Jake, have you resolved one of these or watched one resolved against you?
No, I mean, I love the card draw and I like what it does, but when I look at it, like compared to, say, the Ulamog, for example, which comes with this huge, like, we're exiling half your library and we're getting this big body with Annihilator on it, versus this, which is we're drawing cards and now other colorless creatures get a very good Anthem. I still think like Ulamog and even the Emrakul, which is going to allow me to take control of all your creatures, are just stronger. I'm not saying it's like a bad card or anything like that. Just of the 3, it's the one that I'm the least excited about.
Yep.
Even though drawing cards is great, it's one of my favorite things to do in a card game.
Oh, I hear you.
Draw more cards.
It's the best thing to do.
It's typically the thing to do.
Go sub to
go check me out.
Channel.
We do math. I lost money on an MH3 box, maybe. Go check it out.
That's not an easy thing to do.
I know.
Whatever's a good excuse to open.
If you want to see different content, come watch me lose money on that stupid box.
There you go.
Spectre will be back. If everybody liked it and me and Jake decide to bring it back, we'll see Spectre back for our trivia game. Get everybody playing.
We'll get some trivia going again. That was a good time.
Yeah, dude. Spectre, we appreciate you.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
See you guys.